Hello, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar, Making the Case for Mobile Beyond Text Messages. We know that mobile and the use of mobile in business are a big topic these days, and we're happy to have you here as we pull together what we think will be some very helpful information and tips as you think about mobile for your small business. The subtitle of this presentation is Beyond Text Messages, and that's there because we want to make it clear that we're going to be talking about the steps beyond the basic text message, and about mobile as not just a communications tool, but as part of a communications strategy for small businesses. So for today's presentation, we're going beyond the text message. Do today in a moment. But first, what I want to recognize is that there are some of you thinking you're already sold or you're in and you just want some tips. Well, we'll get to those later. But there's a lot of questions we get about needing help making the case to others in your organization to go mobile. Well, here are 3 stats that ought to help do that pretty quickly. First, the volume of smartphones owned at the end of 2012 was almost 130 million. If we look at usage, 91% of US adults own a cell phone. Further, more than half of them, 56%, own a smartphone, which allows them to do more things like surf the internet, search for things that they may be looking for, as we'll talk about in a moment. And here's a stat that made me sit up and take notice. 29% of Americans use only mobile devices to access the internet. Simply put, your customers are using mobile devices a lot. These statistics alone should be enough to make the case and help convince you that it's time to start thinking about how your business has to build more mobile into its strategy. So if you need to walk away right now, I hope that this helps make the case. Mobile is becoming an increasingly seamless part of our lives, and that includes your customers, your members, your supporters, clients, followers. Now, as I go through this presentation, and as an aside, the numbers I'm going to share today relate to a US-based population, but I can tell you that the trends are moving in similar directions across the globe. So let's start by looking at your use of mobile. What we found in a recent webinar that we ran was that 85% of that audience said they were using mobile devices to manage their personal lives. When we look a little bit further at the physical connection of mobile devices to people, we see statistics like this one. 80% of adults 18 to 44 have their smartphones with them 22 hours a day. If you think this sounds a little bit crazy, consider how you reacted the last time you thought you lost your phone. So without even getting to a discussion about mobile and your business, just look at how mobile has become a seamless part of our personal lives, of your customers' lives. The first thing I want to talk about really is, when it comes to not ignoring mobile, is the spread of mobile devices. If we look at just the number of US smartphone subscriptions in 2013, they're expected to grow by almost a third, 28%. Subscriptions being those accounts that individuals hold with any of your phone providers, your Verizons, your AT&Ts, other providers like that. By the end of 2013, worldwide smartphone usage is expected to reach 1.4 billion, and tablet usage is expected to reach 268 million. Now, people often think of mobile with respect to retail businesses and selling products, but mobile has also started to provide an impact to nonprofits. When we look at some of the statistics, 40% of Americans under 35 used a mobile device to make a donation. Another half, 50%, used a mobile device to browse nonprofit websites and emails. As mobile fundraising becomes a prominent way that donors can connect with organizations, it's essential that nonprofits capitalize on the trend by looking towards mobile fundraising solutions. Another area in which behavior has clearly been influenced and aided by mobile has to do with what is referred to as local search, essentially finding something you need. It could be food, like restaurants, or stuff, goods and services, museums, festivals, kid-friendly options, etc. But there's no denying mobile has become a part of our search for what we want. Let's take a look at this in action. We know that 75% of people used mobile phones to get real-time location-based information. They had an immediate need. They were looking to meet that need. They were looking to find a solution, to find something to fulfill that need. Well, of those searches, 90% led to an action. And even more impressive, 70% of those actions take place within an hour of the search itself. This makes a lot of sense because we search for something when we need it. And finding a solution to the thing that we need, especially a solution that is close by, makes taking an action incredibly compelling. One of the most prominent activities conducted via mobile is the reading and management of email. Email itself is a ubiquitous form of communication, and mobile phones have only increased the ever-present nature of email. But just how much email is being viewed on mobile devices? Well, current research shows that a whopping 44% of email is opened on a mobile device. That number has grown steadily and substantially in just the last 2 years. That's up from 10% in 2011. This should make you sit up and take notice because it's all here. More people are using mobile phones. More mobile phones are smart, enabling a more seamless connection between the user, their needs, their searches, and communication. And mobile behavior is becoming part of the ultimate decision to buy or support a business or organization. Whether or not your customers or supporters are using mobile at the moment to interact with you, they are using mobile to interact with the world around them, of which you are most certainly a part. And more they will be expecting to be able to interact with businesses large and small through their mobile devices. Now, I know I've just shared a lot of numbers with you that may have some of you feeling a little bit out of breath, or perhaps even a little bit scared, wondering how in the world you're ever going to catch up. Well, it's okay. Take a deep breath. All I've done is focus on why you can't ignore mobile any longer. Something you thought you knew, but now you absolutely do know. So check that item off your list.